In this video, we're going to go over the metric system and do some basic conversions. In physics, metric conversions are going to have to become second nature. You're going to be using them a lot, so it's probably really good to make sure you understand how to do metric conversions and to do them pretty simply and pretty quickly. So a mnemonic device or a saying that helps with some students is the following. Mean King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk Monday. Seems a little weird and a little juvenile, but it actually does work, and a lot of students use it to help them remember the metric system and the different orders that they go in. So what that actually stands for, or if you notice, the first letters of all the words are a different color to signify the different prefixes that are in the metric system. So Mean King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk Monday stands for the basic metric prefixes that you'll see. So they stand for, in order, mega, kilo, hecta, deca. The U would stand for the unit, whatever unit you're working with. And then we have deci, centi, milli, and then micro. Now, these are not the only metric prefixes. There are others. For example, as you get bigger than mega, there's giga and tera. And as you get smaller than micro, there's nano and pico. But these are the basic ones that will get you through the gist of the metric system. Now, when you are on a test or when you're working on a worksheet, it's best to write out the Mean King Henry saying, but just using the first letters. And you would do so like this. Mean King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk on Monday. Now you'll notice I've left 2 spaces in between mega and kilo and 2 spaces in between milli and micro. The reason for that is because the metric system is based off of a power of 10. So for example, the base unit that you're looking at is 10 to the 0, and as you get larger it goes 10 to the 1st, 10 to the 2nd, 10 to the 3rd, and then once you get to the 3rd, it goes up by 3s. So kilo is 10 to the 3rd, but mega is 10 to the 6th. Now, there's actually 10 to the 4th and 10 to the 5th in there, but we just don't have a prefix for it. At that point in the metric system, the prefixes are only made for every third metric jump. Same thing as we go down. So deci is 10 to the negative 1st, centi is 10 to the negative 2nd, milli is 10 to the negative 3rd, but then micro is 10 to the negative 6th. So we have to leave those spaces in between to remind us that there actually is a factor of 10 in between there. Now, the symbols for these prefixes are as thus, and I will write them down here. Mega is a capital M, kilo is a lowercase k, hecta is a lowercase h, deca is actually a DA. Since U is the unit, that's just going to be blank, it's whatever the unit you're working with. Deci is a lowercase d, centi is a lowercase c, milli is a lowercase m, and then micro it's a funky Greek letter here. It stands for mu. Kind of looks like the letter U and the letter P formed together. Now, a couple of key things I want you to notice before we do some examples here is that when you're looking at the Mean King Henry saying, first of all, notice that there's 3 M's in the saying. So make sure that you know that the first one stands for mega, the second one is milli, and the third one's micro, because that can be confusing. And then the other thing is notice that there are 2 D's. The one on the left is deca, and the one on the right is deci. So make sure you keep those straight as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and do some examples. Let's say you had 512.9 microseconds, and I wanted you to convert that into deciseconds. What I always tell students, first of all, is just notice right away what unit you're working with. And you can do that by looking at both measurements and notice what's the same between them. And you'll notice what's the same between them is the S. So that tells you seconds is the unit. So then anything that's added to it in the front must be the Greek prefix that you're working with in the metric system. So notice I'm currently in micro, and I want to get to deci. And so what you're going to do is you're going to first write out the mean King Henry. So I've got mean King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk on Monday. And notice I've left my dashes in there. Then I want to first realize, where am I starting from? I'm currently in micro, and remember, micro is the last M, which is right here. And I want to go to deci, which is the second D, or the D to the right. So now I say, how many spaces does it take to get from micro to deci? So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, and notice I went 5 spaces to the left. And so that's what we're going to end up doing with our decimal. So I originally had 512.9, and so I would move the decimal 5 places to the left as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop my decimal, and then any place that I have empty, I'm going to fill with zeros. So my new number, my new conversion would be 0.005129 deciseconds. Let's do another one. Let's go ahead and say that you have 1,390 meters, and I wanted you to convert that into kilometers. So first thing is, notice what is the same between the both of them, and the same thing is the M. So that tells me meters is the unit that I'm working with. Now notice in the first one, there is no prefix. It's blank in front. So that tells me that I must be actually starting with the unit, or U. The second one, I want to go to kilo. So then I'm going to go ahead and write out my mean King Henry real quick. Alright, so now that I've got that, notice that there's no Greek prefix in the front, or no metric prefix. So that tells me I'm actually at the base unit, which is meter. And I want to go to kilo, which is right here to the left. So I ask myself, how many places does it take to get from the base unit to kilo? And I go 1, 2, 3 places to the left. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that with my number as well. Whoop. There we go. Now you'll notice that there is no decimal, so it's assumed to be right here. And we're going to move it 1, 2, 3 spots to the left and drop it. So there's 1.39 kilometers in 1,390 meters, or in other words, they're equal to each other. Let's do one more example. Let's go ahead and say that I had 29.8 decagrams, and I want you to convert that to centigrams. So notice what's the same. It's the G's. So G, we're looking at measures of mass here. My prefix I'm starting out with is DA, or deca, and then C is centi. So if I look at my mean King Henry, I notice that I'm starting right here with deca, which is the first D, and then I want to go to centi. So it takes 1, 2, 3 places to the right, and so I'm going to take my decimal, which was originally 29.8, and go to the right 3 places. 1, 2, 3. Same thing, filling in any empty spot with zeros. So 29,800 centigrams is equal to 29.8 decagrams. This concludes the video on the metric system and simple metric conversions.